Gaming or gambling? There's plenty of debate around in-game purchases and loot crates, as well as gambling as a form of entertainment. Let's break it down and figure it out together. Let's dive into the world of gaming and talk about the experiences and moments we lived through it. Please welcome our guests, OG Pony and Rafiki. Kate and Rafiki.
What's
Pony
up?
And Rafiki. Guys, don't mind just briefly introducing yourselves. We can start out with Pony and then we'll take it from there.
Sure, my name is Cade. People will just call me Pony in the gaming space. I've gone by Pony for a while now. I'm an ex-Bravado Fortnite player and streamer, content creator in my own time. A little bit of experience with gaming, a little bit of experience with gambling. So I'm here to just give my own personal insights to the questions that we're about to hear.
Yeah, cool.
Fantastic.
I'm Anthony, but mostly known as Rafiki to most. Head of online operations for ACGL. Pretty much run everything esports in Africa at the moment. Yeah, so lots of experience in gaming, probably a little bit too much, and probably far too much experience in gambling. So yeah, just want to speak about gambling and the pros and cons to it.
Fantastic. So the first thing that I want to know is there's two words that instantly come to mind for me personally when I think about the integration between gaming and gambling. Those two words are loot boxes and microtransactions. So if you guys can please dive into this a bit more, define what you know loot boxes and microtransactions to be, and then also how integral they've become in certain gaming experiences. Rafiki, we'll start out with you.
Cool. I think it's so game dependent. Whenever it comes down to loot boxes and microtransactions, it is so based on what the game is. If it's a AAA title, any of your Call of Duties, and they start hitting you with all the microtransactions, we've seen it for big games, EA, Battlefield. Star Wars years ago, they hit us with a million microtransactions. The game just didn't feel like you paid the full price, and then you had a million microtransactions. If it's a free-to-play game, then it's a little bit more enticing to want to pay those little extra things towards a game that you didn't already have to pay full price for. So it's very game dependent. And as long as whatever those microtransactions are, as long as there's a way to get it free throughout playing, just by playing the game, I think that's where these loot boxes and microtransactions are a little bit less worrisome in gaming. Loot boxes we've seen, Call of Duty's done it for years, Overwatch did it, where you could win the loot boxes by just playing the game, and everything in those loot boxes you could get by just playing the game. As soon as the game start blocking players from getting things in the loot boxes, or they hiding game-breaking features behind microtransactions, I think that's where we start to see major issues coming in with those microtransactions loot boxes.
100%. Pony, your side, brother, man.
Cool. Well, dude, Rafiki just explained it perfectly there. What can you add? From my side, I've always been on the positive side of it. I've always liked being able to, purchase things in game. Not necessarily, you see, it gets a bit touchy when it gets pay to win in that. Thinking of games like FIFA specifically, and then, mobile games like even, Clash of Clans and things like that. Where it gets big for pay to win. But when it comes to just strictly microtransactions for skins, cosmetics, that, I've been a fan of it because, if I'm enjoying playing a game and, it just adds to the experience. It's cool when you have a nice skin in your hand. If you're playing Valorant, it's cool if you have a nice skin. When people ask you to drop skins, it gets annoying, but it's a little bit like, I got it, bro. But I've always been for it, but it actually comes on perfectly to what Rafiki said, where it's like, on these free-to-play games, great. But then when you go and you pay like 1,000 Rand for a game, and then you get in there and it's like, oh, cool, you just actually bought the, right to play it. Now, if you want other things, you got to, bust out the credit card, pay 100%. More. So that's when it can feel like a bit of a slap on the wrist.
It's crazy because I'm not one that spends money in games personally, but you touched on Valorant, and that ostentatious vibe of you having the latest skin that's just been in the store,
dude,
or
it
your
makes you
night
feel like you
markets
play
popping
better.
off. Exactly, better skins lead to better FPS. You know what I'm saying?
We all know skin buff is like a major thing. We all know that having a skin, extra 5 damage, the accuracy, everything's a little bit better as soon as you have a more expensive skin on. We all know this.
100%. And then on this topic of loot boxes, right? oftentimes there's like a gambling mechanic within the loot boxes. I know personally, back in the day for Rocket League, before there were some complications, but you could get a crate and then you could buy a key to open said crate for actual money, but you never knew what you were getting in said box. However, there was a possibility of 12 items that you could get. How do you feel that impacts a gamer or the gamer's experience in said game? Like, are you disappointed when you don't get what you want? Is that gambling in its own? What are you guys' thoughts and opinions on that?
I'll kick us off here. Yeah, a lot of people that know me and have known me for a while. I used to stream a couple of years ago, stream CS:GO case openings, and it was, something I really enjoyed doing. And you come to the realization really quick that it is gambling. Doesn't matter, how to put it. It's gambling. You want to get the best thing. It's not guaranteed. You open a case, it rolls past. It's that instant gratification. It's all the same things that apply to gambling when you're opening this crate. And it's a slippery slope, because it comes to the point where you can get them for free in game, but then you have to buy the key. It's not as simple as you just got a crate dropped to you in CS matchmaking. You now have to actually go and buy a key to open it. So it's one thing after the next, but I love it. I love it. I make content from it. People love watching it. People enjoy seeing it. And those who don't open it themselves, they'll go and they'll watch people open cases, because it's almost, you get that same gratification watching someone, when that shiny yellow knife rolls in, like, oh, please, this is what I've been waiting for.
You share that emotion in that moment.
And it's raw. It's raw, and it makes for great entertainment. It really does. People love watching it, the highs, the lows of it all. So I've always been for it, to an extent where, the reason I stopped doing it is because it actually was just getting crazy expensive, and you got to weigh it out. Depends. 100%. Like, if you can't afford to do it and it's not the smart thing, it's definitely, rather just go watch it. It's not in your inventory, but it will give you that same feeling when you see people pulling it in that, and you're there live for it.
Rafiki, anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I agree completely. Opening up those crates in CS:GO, Overwatch used to have it. FIFA, all the FIFA pack openings, they build up an adrenaline inside you, like, oh my, and you don't pull what you want, so you're like, one more, I'll get it. Oh yeah, the one more, always the one more, and it's such a common thing in gaming. Just one more game, just one more. Like, it's always just one more. And I think this is where gambling in games becomes very sketchy when it comes down to, because gambling websites, casinos all have age restrictions. You have to get in there with an ID. When it comes to, especially CS:GO is a free game to play. The keys you purchase through game, there's no age restriction to it. No games enforce their age restrictions. Unless it's being used in in a public space, age restrictions aren't being enforced by games. So for a game like CS:GO, Overwatch, you can even look at Fortnite. These things are easily accessible to anyone. So I think it is, like Pony said, it's a slippery slope, because it's so accessible. It's accessible gambling to everybody. And gambling is an addiction. Some people are able to play and then move on. Other people, I'm the same myself, are not able to stop after the first 10 spins. Even if I didn't get what I wanted, I want to keep going. It's the adrenaline of playing. It's the adrenaline of doing it that really gets people hooked, and it's accessible. That's the one thing about gaming. Is gaming nowadays is so accessible, from mobile 100%. Games to major platforms. We all sit and we watch. We've all sat down and watched the Tim the Tatman case opening. Like,
yep.
Like, we've watched it because you're like, I can't afford it. But when you watch them, you're like, oh, maybe if I try just once, and that just once leads to another one and another one. So yeah, accessible gambling to all ages is a very scary thing in gaming.
100%. And just to echo what you said before we go into a break, is that accessibility is the one approach, but then affordability, right? But I can personally say that from FIFA perspective, I decided to stream FIFA one time, and I said I'll never spend money on the game. One of my homies came into the stream and decided to give $200, and he was like, I'm donating to you $200 to spend on FIFA packs. And then I was like, okay, this is awesome. It's not my money. Cheers, let's go. But as soon as I was introduced to that feeling of opening this and the reactions I got from the viewers and the possibility of packing like a Messi or a Ronaldo, I then spent money of my own after that, which I would have never done if I never got that taste.
I think
that's where the danger lies. Yeah, cool. So we're going to go into a short break real quick. Myself, Rafiki, and Pony will be back right after this.
Who are you? And what's your role?
I'm Jonathan the Fox, and I'm the IGL Bravado gamer.
What's your game name?
Dory.
Jono, how does it feel knowing that Valve made a sticker for you as Jono the Fox?
Okay, firstly, I didn't make the sticker for me. That's actually where I did get my name from. It was Dory the Fox.
Action terminated.
Jono, who's your favorite player of all time?
Definitely got to be JT, just because of the background of him as a player and like how far he's coming and proving himself. Even like, despite him being a South African player, I just really like his attitude and mindset to the game.
What did you mean by despite that he's a South African player?
Just so that there's no local bias, as that's why he's my favorite player.
Okay.
Stop trying to dig, Marsh.
Yeah, he's looking for juicy. How long do you think Valor's going to be around for?
At first when they announced it, I was like, dude, what is this? Then I saw all the hype around it, and I got a little skeptical because I was like, okay, dude, they're gonna kind of encroach onto our style here in CS locally, because I don't think we would be able to support both games at the same time. As soon as I saw all the hate on Twitter and how fast it's died, I'm chilling.
Dono, how do you see the next month, like next year for Bravado? What's your goals?
I want just non-stop pressure, non-stop practice, and just perma working towards even better achievements and goals and reaching new heights as an org as players.
And we are back to continue on our segment of gaming and gambling with Pony and Rafiki. And I think a lot of you out there don't actually know what the term P2W means, pay to win in full. In my short definition, it's where you can invest capital, real life currency that you've worked for, that you've exchanged your time for personally, into a game that then allows for you to progress through said game a lot quicker than those who do not. However, we're going to dive into what pay to win is in a bit more definition and a bit more comprehensively. And I think Pony's going to kick us off there, just to tell us a bit more about what pay to win is.
Sure. So, what pay to win is, a prime example is FIFA. They've perfected a method of pay to win year after year after year. And it's crazy to think that, as soon as a new game releases, every cent you've just put into the previous year's FIFA is gone. It's done. You keep the team, but you never play the game again. It's moved on to the new one. So what you can do on FIFA is you buy packs, and there's different packs. There's like 25k, 50k, 100k, and it's all FIFA coins. And you can then buy FIFA points to buy these packs. And when you open these packs, you get players. And of course, the players are at different ratings according to their real life performances and that. And, if you pack a Messi, oh, great, that's going to be, in the start of a FIFA, he'll be like 2 million coins. You can then sell that Messi you just packed and you get 2 million coins. And now you can go buy, 10 to 100,000 players. So you've just skipped an entire, I would say about 3 weeks of full-on grinding, weekend league, everything, just to get those packs that you would have originally got from rewards. You can just go buy them now. And it takes out that entire 3-week grind where you can you can put it in an hour and buy packs, get coins, sell the players, just like that.
Set yourself up. Yep.
Set yourself up. And I'm guilty of that through the T. I love it. No, but it's...
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. So that is it.
Your side.
Yeah, so it's working in esports over the years. I've got a little bit more experience on pay to win. Call of Duty, what I say, Advanced Warfare. There used to be different variations of guns, and they had different levels of stats on each one of those weapons, and they were all locked behind loot crates. So you had to purchase loot crates to get the better variants of guns, and the people that had the better variants, even if you had the exact same weapon, if they had the better variant, it was game. They were outgunning you every single thing. So that was like the pure form of pay to win, that there was an item that was better than the standard item in the game that you could pay for to get and literally just be better. But there's
That's
many
a
different
madness.
forms of pay to win. We've seen it definitely in South Africa in the Apex Legends scenes. We saw that people wanted exit lag to be bad because they saw it as pay to win. People that could use exit lag had a better ping, which means that they had an advantage over players that could not. So console players have always seen exit lag, any sort of GPN as a pay to win feature because they will have better connection to any sort of international game. So yeah,
I've never thought about that.
I've
like that.
never,
Like, sorry to
you
butt
know,
in.
I
I've
agree.
never thought about it. I use exit lag for every game that I play except on local servers.
Yeah.
And I've never ever thought about
Oh,
it like
so
that.
you pay to win, Papa Capes? No, you pay to
Well,
win. You are paid to
now
win.
it seems that way. I didn't even know, man.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
There's so many different forms of it. I mean, we see in America
That's crazy.
at the moment, we see that people are claiming that players that are moving to major cities where the servers are is pay to win because they're moving into cities because there's certain cities in America that you get 0 ping to Fortnite. But it's pay to win because you're living in a city that you have the lowest possible ping. Because they can afford to make that move to take the game more competitively, it's pay to win.
Madness.
So there's always been these things of items in game that are pay to win, but there's also external features to games. We can look at having a scuff controller to having a normal controller. Is that pay to win because you have extra buttons on your controller? So yeah, there's many different forms of pay to win in gaming that people
crazy.
never even think about.
Dude,
I've never thought of that. I'm
you've
thinking
just
about-
opened my mind completely.
Yeah.
I only think of pay to win being in-game scenarios. This is my first time actually thinking now of all the external things you can do to improve your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I take it back. Obviously, the segment earlier is does the E make a difference where we compare traditional sports to esports? And now I'm thinking pay to win, the dude that could afford the better cricket bat.
Yeah.
Like he's going to hit more sixes than me. The guy who could afford better shoulder pads is going to get less injuries than me.
Yeah.
Like, is that all considered pay to? I'm still like, I'm mind
Did you know
blown.
what?
Like,
If you think
that's
about it
crazy.
to its core, it is. But is it regarded as in the whole form? I don't know. Well, yes, I suppose so. He makes a
That's
good
crazy.
point.
Yeah.
But
And I spend.
question, sorry, Papa.
Yeah, no, carry on.
It's how big does that pay to win gap actually create? So
Yeah.
you play a lot of Rocket League. Does someone who's playing with a scuff controller with paddles on the back, does he have better movement than you because you're playing on a standard controller? How big is that
No.
gap really? There's still a skill factor that comes to it.
100%. I was going to say, I've got 6,000 hours in that game. And if somebody has to come through with half of that on a scuff controller, I'm still going to clap cheeks. man.
Exactly.
And that's because of the skill that's involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same as in FIFA. When I play someone with a regular team and I've got a pay to win team, they'll then message me after the game saying, wow, pay to lose, because they beat me because I'm just not good at FIFA.
I'm dead.
So-
Oh, that's funny. No, it's crazy. To give you guys a little bit of insight, I used to work gaming support, white glove gaming support. That's a variation of VIP support. So I used to, and it was on a mobile game. And the top spender that I ever came across, let me put this into perspective. The lowest spender that I could have helped and assisted was $75,000. And the highest spender I came across was $2.76 million.
On a
US
mobile
dollars
game?
On a mobile game.
Wow.
And that is to get the best troops. That's to get the best troops the fastest and to upgrade whatever it is that you called the base, quote unquote, hypothetically speaking, to get the base to the highest level possible. So this is real. And I was
Wow.
bamboozled
Wow.
when I identified that that's what people were prepared to spend just to get a competitive edge.
I mean,
So, yeah.
one of the biggest. Sorry, just last touching on this.
Carry on.
is we saw Clash Royale years ago. Clash of Clans years ago was one of the biggest mobile games that ever came out. And one of the main things that you could do in the game was to buy gems to upgrade things faster. That must have been one of the most profitable things that a
Oof,
mobile game
yep.
was for people to buy gems and then boost was it Town Hall, I think it was called, to get the
In Clash of Clans, yeah.
So those type of things in mobile games is where they make so much money. Any one of the time boosting options in mobile games is far too much money there.
100%. The successful person once said, making tons of money is not about working harder. It's about getting more output for the time that you've invested, which all comes down to leverage, right? And this is what
Yeah.
gamers have now established. Like, previously it was so frowned upon. If you were pay to win, but now it's become a norm. Like if you're not spending money on games, like who are you even?
Dude,
you've still got a default skin in Valorant? Shame, here's a skin for you, bud.
Exactly.
But like, that's not pay to win, but like people are so familiar and comfortable with spending money on games. So it's crazy.
It's the thing is, it's like, you know, they've done so well in advertising it just without them having to actually advertise it, because it's done through all the players. It's done through all of us. We're the ones who really do all the advertising for these
100%.
companies, because I mean, we're the ones who come up with like, you know, skin buff. It's a real thing. It's like you got a skin buff, but it's not actually. But it's you know, we put it in our own heads like, oh, dude, I need, give me that Reaver, bro. Give me that Reaver. I need that one. And so it's genius on their behalf, really.
No, I love this. And I love the fact that we've come down to the fact that like it's all for entertainment, right? At the end of the day, when we touched on gambling earlier, there is a huge market of consumers who cannot place themselves in the position to gamble, so they consume the content of people gambling. And these are games that put you in a digital virtual reality almost as if you're at a casino. Like they're exactly the same. The rewards are as big, if not sometimes bigger, and the emotional response to people winning or losing is identical to what you'd see live at a casino. So I think we can all agree that loot boxes, gambling.
Yes.
Microtransactions, not always. Pay to win, frowned upon? Yes, no, I don't know.
Wow. I don't think I'll respond it on a public platform and get flamed later on.
So I guess we'll leave the result up to your imagination. Pony, Rafiki, thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate it. I was clueless, absolutely clueless with a lot of these things that we discussed. Exit lag. But yeah, we will be back with another segment next time. Yo, take it easy. Ciao, bye. Mate, exit lag.